Hey everybody, this is Andy with Two Perspective Studio. Thanks for joining me on this wonderful Tuesday. Try It Tuesday is what I call it, because we get together and try something new in the world of realistic fake foods. We are inside the Crafting Collective group today, which consists of several members, including Jess from Jess's Creations, Cece from Dragonflies and Hearts, Jan from Jan C's Designs, and Marie from Great Creations Faux Cupcakes, and Nicole from Nicole's Great Creations. We are all on every Tuesday in the Crafting Collective. Marie and Nicole are attending a crafting convention in Orlando this week, so they will not be live. So I'll be the last presenter of the day. Today I'm going to try a new technique. Actually, I already tried it, so I know that it works. Hey Jamie, how are you? A new interesting way to make some Christmas cookies. And they actually don't even have to be Christmas cookies. They could be pretty much any holiday or different. Hi Michelle. You can probably do a lot of things with these. I had this in my brain this morning and I had to go to the doctor, and the whole time I was in the doctor's office I kept thinking, I need to get home, I need to try this before I go live, I need to see if it's going to work. So when I got back I tried it, and lo and behold, it worked like a charm. So I'm pretty excited to show you guys what I did. And I really hope that nobody has done this before. If they have, I promise I didn't steal your idea. It was one of those things that just came to me and I did it. So I hope this is the first time you're seeing it. If not, you guys can tell me if you've seen this before. And I'll be totally disappointed, but I'm hoping this is a new and fantastic idea. Hey Jess, I missed you this morning. I was at the doctor and I couldn't watch you. I'll have to go back and catch the replay later. So I have my camera set up to where I can just angle it down again, so you're not going to see my face during most of this, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, because I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to tilt this down real quick so you can see the surface that I'm working on. And I'm going to grab another piece of parchment real quick and just lay that in here. Yeah, I missed Cece too, and I missed most of Jan, so I have a lot of replaying to do later. So I have these two cookie molds, and I got these quite some time ago. I cannot for sure tell you where I got them. I feel like I may have gotten this sugar cookie mold from Annie's Treasures, but I can't swear to it. This one, I feel like it was an Amazon thing. It's a very textured, really nice cookie mold. This makes great realistic cookies. You can do this in a variety of methods. You can use salt dough, which is really my preferred method. This is a pretty realistic looking salt dough chocolate chip cookie that came from this mold. I'll see if I can, yeah, so you can see the textures a little better on this. Even the back, I mean, it really looks like a real cookie. It is hard as a rock. I made this cookie probably a year ago. It is scented with one of my scent oils. This is the cookie scent oil, and I believe I put some chocolate in it as well. I think that's what it smells like to me. I made it a long time ago. It's just a leftover cookie that I have hanging around, but it did come from this mold. You can also use this mold for clay. It comes out great. This is done with the Model Magic. I made these a little while ago, so they're still kind of soft. I mean, you won't get any texture on the back, same as you would with foam clay, but it also does work with foam clay. So you can use this mold for a variety of things. You could even pour the 10-minute resin in here and then paint it when it's done. You get the same effect. It's just a really nice ultra textured mold. So if you can find molds like these, if you're trying to make realistic cookies, either make your own mold if you know how, or find one that has lots of texture, because really texture is the key when you're going for something, you know, ultra realistic. This one is more of like the Loft House sugar cookie kind of thing. I did make one of those with Model Magic earlier, and you can see it even has some side texture on it. So it's a really nice mold. I think you can probably find something similar on Amazon. I looked briefly earlier and I found a couple that looked similar. This is a 3-inch, which is about the size of a realistic, you know, like a regular Loft House style sugar cookie you would get in the store. For the kind that I make out of salt dough, I typically just use a cookie cutter for this method. And you can, let me see if I can get that to come in on the side so you can see the textures on that. But this is a salt dough. This has sort of a mimic with the icing on top and the sprinkles. I don't know why that's always so blurry. Does it look blurry to you? It does to me. But I made these, oh, see, they're hard as a rock. These would also make terrific ornaments if you were decorating. I think I did these back when we were doing Easter, and I still have some leftovers. But I mean, if you can put an eye hook in these before you bake them. Like I said, these are salt dough, so you would have to either bake them or put them out in the sunshine for a while to dry. You can leave them out just in the regular air to dry, but it does take a while. But either way is fine. But these could definitely be ornaments for tree, you know, your little decorated tree or whatever you want to use it for. Same goes for what I was going to show you today. I wanted to do some Christmas cookies since we're doing the Christmas in July. Hey Jan and Cheryl and Peggy and whoever else I might have missed. I'm just yammering on here because I'm kind of excited. You guys probably know that I sell a lot of realistic food prep items, like the scent oils. I sell these. I actually will be going live tomorrow morning at 11, doing a live sale with the live sales and crafting down south again. So a lot of this stuff and some new items are going to be available. I like to scent my Model Magic when I'm kneading it. So before I ever get to the mold stage and I'm just kneading the bare clay, that is when I do my scenting. I'll drop 1 or 2 drops in the clay and I'll knead it through. Model Magic takes quite a lot of time to knead. You really have to warm it up. It can crack on you if you don't warm it up really well. So you need to get it to where it's pliable, like taffy stretch without breaking. That's the point that you want to get it. Once you have it to that point, you can put a drop or 2 of your scent oil in here and just knead it back through really, really well. And then you'll have, I usually wear gloves when I'm doing that, or else I smell like 147 different food smells by the end of the day. So a gloved hand is, you know, recommended for sure. But once I get that done, that's when I go back and start pressing into the molds and making my cookies. If I'm doing salt dough, I do the same thing. I put the oil in the mix as I'm mixing. I use the gloves for that as well. And after it's baked off, your oven smells like you've been cooking cookies or brownies or whatever it is that you're making that you scented. It'll smell like it for a little while. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, it makes your house smell nice, kind of like, potpourri would. So all I did was press that little bit of clay into the mold. It will pop right out. You don't need to grease molds when you're using Model Magic, unless it's a very intricate mold. But anything like a cookie mold or anything like that, there is no need to grease it. And it pretty much pops right out. The Model Magic doesn't stick. I always say try and wait until your clay, this has a good hard crust over it because I made this about 7 o'clock this morning. So these two are crusted, the back side is still kind of gooey, but it's a good idea to wait until your cookies dry, at least, I'll say at least like 8 hours, or overnight if you can. It makes the paint go on easier. You don't disturb any of your texture or anything like that. Hey Stephanie, how are you? So that's just a recommendation. I know you guys, I don't know how many of you actually paint your foam clay. I do that too in certain circumstances that I'm trying to bring about more realism. I'll use paint instead of shading, like with makeup or soft pastel or anything like that. Sometimes I use paint to sort of zhuzh things up and make it look more realistic if I'm using foam clay. So, with that being said, this cookie here, the one that I showed you, the chocolate chip, I thought it would be a really nice cookie if it was chocolate peppermint for Christmas. And this is what I came up with this morning. Let's see if we can get this to come in nice and clear. This has my peppermint, or I'm sorry, it's not peppermint, it's called candy cane. This has my candy cane finishing sugars on it, and it's a chocolate cookie. So chocolate and mint were the 2 scents that I used to scent this cookie. I put 1 drop of chocolate and 1 drop of mint, and it smells just like those. You can't see me smelling it, but I'm smelling it. It actually smells incredibly realistic. It has that chocolatey, minty, like Andes candies kind of thing. So I think this is really nice, the way that it turned out, and I was happy with that. So this is the mixture that I used. I know a lot of you guys already have this. This is the candy cane sprinkle. It's a pretty big, chunky mixture. It's actually mostly made of pulverized glass. So you have to be a little careful with some of the smaller pieces, but then you have these nice big chunks here that you can do a lot with, because it really simulates if you took a candy cane and really just, hit it with a hammer or something to sort of, break it up. So there's more white in the jar than there is red, as you would get with like if you crushed a real candy cane, because the red stripes are not the primary. The primary is white. So that is what my chocolate candy cane cookie looks like after I did it. I'm going to show you the colors in just a second. Let me put these guys up here. Now, if you happen to get the finishing sugars from me, know that a good portion of each one of the sugars is made of some sort of glass material. Keep them away from your pets, your kids, your grandkids, all that. You don't want to get glass all over. It's kind of like using diamond dust. You have to be a little more cautious of what you do with it. But I will tell you that if you are applying this to spackle or anything, any wet material like that, it will stick just like diamond dust sticks. It's not like sprinkles that you have to apply, you know, with your tweezer, one piece at a time. It doesn't happen like that. This will stick to literally anything. I put this on when the paint was wet. I did nothing else. This is just stuck on the paint. I haven't applied Mod Podge, nothing on this cookie, and it is sticking on there. I saw one little piece fall off right there, and I'm shaking the cookie. All I did was put paint on there. So these small, and a lot of the sugars are more like actual sugar, like you would use on a Christmas cookie. Just like table sugar granules, some of them have a little bit more chunky stuff in it depending on what you do, but they stick to anything. It's amazing. So you probably, if you're semi-careful or you use a tray or some parchment paper, you're not going to get a lot on the floor. You're not going to have it flying all over like you would glitter. I rarely use glitter on anything just because of that, because I love glitter, I love the sparkle, but I don't like all the flyaway and the cleanup that comes with it, so I really try hard not to use it too much. This is a, if it'll focus, hello, focus, come on, focus. Burnt umber, if you can read that through the blur. I don't know why this thing does not focus that well. This is a Liquitex. There we go. This is the Burnt Umber by Liquitex. I find it a nice chocolate color. I'm going to dip my brush in a little bit of water, and I have a paper towel. I'm going to pick up some of that color. You always want to make sure your brush is at least damp when you're working with acrylics. And because this is such a textured cookie, I'm going to have to do a little pouncing. But like I said, the top part of this cookie is pretty dry, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. If I had just pressed this out of the mold like I did that other one, I would have to be a lot more gentle with what I was doing. Now you can blend the darker color, which is, what is the darker color? This is the raw umber. This is the darker one. Oh, here it is. You can see the difference in the browns, sort of, I think. Sometimes I mix these together just to make a slightly dark coloring for brownies and things like that. You can do it either way that you like. Or if you have another color that you like for chocolate, by all means, just use what you have or what you like. I can't wait to show you this other technique that I found. And I really hope nobody has done this. Like I said, if somebody else has done what I'm getting ready to show you in a couple of minutes, I hate it, but I need more paint. I'm pretty sure that I haven't seen anybody do it, but if they have, I apologize. But I just want to do this one first. So this clay was scented before I pressed it. I scented it with the chocolate and I scented it with the mint. So it does smell like minty chocolate. Which is actually not something that I like to eat. I'm not crazy about minty chocolate, but I do like the smell. That's kind of weird, I know. I'm just going to turn this around with my brush because I don't have a glove on. Just so that I can get this other side. Now I will go back and paint this booger on the underside after the top is completely dry. Alright. So all I did was I took this candy cane mixture and I took some out. I tried to avoid the huge pieces because like I said, there are some big chunks in there. I didn't want a lot of huge chunks on there. I wanted more of the, the finely chopped. And you can actually put those in a little baggie if you find you have too many chunks. You can put them in a little baggie and hit them with a hammer and file them down a little bit, which I have done. I'm sort of concentrating this to the middle of this cookie. And these would be, this mixture would be great for like a filled cookie. You could fill it up with the little candy cane mixture. That would be cute. I haven't done a lot on the lives with any of the stuff that I make. And that's sort of my bad. I'm going to start doing more so that you can see what I have and, what you might be able to use. Because I use it a lot in my Etsy stuff that I sell, but I don't show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm going to start doing more of that and more regular videos just showing you. So that's basically all I did to make those. And like I said, you can make these and put them out on a little cookie tray. They are already scented. They look brilliantly realistic. I mean, they really do. Somebody would be likely to come in and say, oh, can I have a cookie, and just grab this. You could also put the little hook in there and make them ornaments for your tree or to sell for anyone else's tree for sure. So that's what I did with that one. Now, the exciting piece that I was wanting to show you has to do with this style of cookie, more of the loft house. What I did to make this cookie, is that not adorable? I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you what I did to make this cookie. But is he not friggin' adorable? Do you just love him? I need to hear it, guys. Say yes, I love this. Have you seen anybody else do this? Am I not telling you anything new? Am I telling you something new? I kind of need to know. Have you seen this before? This is flat on. This is not raised. It is in the cookie. It is on the cookie. Has anybody done this before? Because I really don't know. I'm hoping that I've come up with something totally new. The sugar cookies you pull apart and bake. Oh, like the Pillsbury cookies. Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because they have those trees that are like through the middle of the cookie dough thing. Yeah, I was actually thinking, and I have stenciled on cookies before, and cakes and the whole 9 yards, but this is way easier than stenciling. Anybody else have a guess as to what this might be, how this might be? KJ, Karen does stencils on her clay, Teresa? Yeah, I've stenciled on a lot of stuff before, but this is actually not a stencil. This is way easier than a stencil. And I don't know why I hadn't thought about it before. I am going to switch my little things around here. It is not a stamp, and it is not airbrush. I haven't gotten my airbrush yet. I'm still on the fence about the airbrush, whether I actually need it or I don't. And I'm not sure. I feel like I really want one to mess with it, but I'm not sure. So, Da 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 da. This is a napkin. It is decoupage on a cookie, and it still looks like you could eat it. Edible cookie, decoupaged with a napkin. I got these napkins about a year ago from this place. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. DecoupageNapkins.com. I happen to still have their card, so I figured I would show you. I am not an affiliate, even if they have those. I have no affiliation with them at all. I just like their stuff. There's some other places that I get rice papers from, and I believe you can do this same technique with rice paper. I don't see why you couldn't. But I did. I actually pulled out some of my rice paper. And you know, you can print your own rice papers. Did you know that? You can buy printable rice paper, and you can print any pattern that you want on it. Now, I've done napkins on the little people, you know, the little critters we make. I have done outfits where I've decoupaged on the outfits, but I have never thought about doing like cookies with stuff on it that makes it look like you stenciled, because professional bakers do a lot of stenciling on their cookies and make them fancy. I have never thought about decoupaging on cookies. I'm pretty sure you could use rice paper just the same. I haven't tried it because, like I said, this just like exploded in my brain this morning, so I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure. 90%. I'll give you 90%. I'll test it and I'll let you know. So this particular napkin, and when you buy napkins from that place, they already come peeled and everything, so you don't have to worry about messing around trying to get your layers off. All their stuff comes, well, I guess I shouldn't say all, but all the stuff that I've gotten has come that way. So I assume they haven't, you know, they have it already done for you. But this has so many cute little patterns. It has this candy cane, this cookie, all this neat little twisty rope stuff. It has these little hearts, and then it's got the little gingerbread people. So you could do a lot of like the same style cookie with the different patterns, and they would all be matchy. And I thought that was, you know, so super sweet. So I'm gonna cut, and all I did, I have these whatever you call these, like fine cutting scissors. I don't even know what to call them. They're just tiny scissors, and they do like, they're very dull right at the moment. They're hardly cutting this napkin. So you see, you could put like a candy cane on one, and one of these other little things on one. I'm gonna get another one of these little gingerbread guys over here. And most of the, I'm gonna leave some of the string just so it looks like he's got something next to him. That's what I did with the other one. And this is nice too because it has the white background, which made it even easier. If it didn't have the white background, you'd have to do some blending on your cookie, just like you would normal decoupage, but that still, it wouldn't be a big deal. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have napkins, if any of you have a napkin collection. JR has actually been going through my napkin collection and thinning it out, and that's it. I have a lot of napkins in my Wednesday sale. He's gonna have to sort out the rest of my Christmas stuff. I'm not sure how many of these I have, but if I have several of them, I'll put them in my Wednesday sale too, so you guys could get some of these if you wanted them. So what I do with those cookies, this is Wendy's done the tutorial on how to print on, is it rice paper or tissue? Yeah, I've done the napkin thing on cakes before, but I don't know why I've never even thought about doing it on a cookie, especially something like this. I mean, this really looks like, you know, the expensive bakery stencil cookies, and I was pretty excited about it. So this is the Michaels paint, the Amsterdam. This is the Sienna. It says raw Sienna. It says Sienna Natural. Um, it's a little bit lighter than the regular raw Sienna. I feel like it's halfway between a raw Sienna and a yellow ochre. So if you wanted to mix something like that, that's what you could do, just to make it a little lighter. Or you could add some regular raw sienna to your yellow ochre, or an Indian yellow is just as nice. So again, I start with the wet brush. Now when I do these Loft House cookies, you see how I leave some of the background natural. So it looks like you really baked the cookie. You can shade your edges a little more than I did here. That's personal preference if you want them to look more darker and baked. I use a flat brush to do most of the painting on here, and I just sort of gently go around. I tend to make the edges a little darker than the top, but I try not to like overly mush the paint down in there, so that there's a little bit of the natural color of the Model Magic showing through, because that's kind of the way sugar cookies bake. They're a real light colored dough, because it's basically butter, sugar, and flour. So you tend to get the baking pattern over the top of it, but you can still see that light color underneath. So that's how I paint mine, to try and get them to stay fairly natural looking. Because the top has that nice texture on it, you can go against the grain and leave more of, if you went against the grain like that, you'll leave more showing underneath. If you go with the grain, you'll get a darker top on the cookie, if that kind of makes sense. I usually go with the grain. I need a little more water on my brush here. It's best to use a pretty decent, when you're doing things like this, it's best to use a decent amount of water. You don't want to flood your Model Magic or anything, but you do want to get it to where your paint really lays on there pretty well. So that's how I paint my sugar cookie color. It's just that one color, and like I said, you can go over your edges and make them a little darker. You can use the soft pastels, you can use the makeup to shade it, whatever is your style, for sure. I don't think I really have a style. I just do things. I don't even know what I do half the time. I just do it. So you're probably familiar with these jobbies. This is called a water pen, if you're not familiar with it. And basically it just has it's a paintbrush on the top of a tube that you fill with water, and then you screw it back on. You can get a whole set of these on Amazon or some of the other places, and they come in different tops on the brush. This is the pointed one. They have flat ones. They have different diameters and things like that. But you just give the pen a little squeeze and it'll wet your brush pretty well. This is an invaluable tool if you're doing any kind of decoupage stuff, with rice papers or napkins, because you need to get a little closer to your object that you're trying to bring out here. And the easiest way to do that is with just a little bit of water, and then you can pull, and you pull that napkin right away. So you're a lot closer to the image, and you leave a little bit of fray around there. So I'm going to do that same thing over here. And you get nice and close, and it's pretty easy. It's actually easier if you put it down than hold it, but I was trying to kind of show you what I was doing, so move him out of the way. So over here, I'm just going to put a line. Oops. And then I'll take my finger and I'll just pull that line, and it brings off the napkin. So it gets you closer on there, and you don't have so much, you know, so much of the white showing. Yeah, I'm a watercolor artist as well as foods. So these, if you're outside walking around and you have your little sketchbook or whatever, and you're going to try and paint something, they have these little travel watercolor things, and it's hard to find water, you know, unless you're carrying water or whatever. So if you're, you know, out and you want to paint something, these things are great because you have your water right in there, and then when you want to clean your brush, you just use a rag or a towel or whatever, and you can squeeze and it'll clean your brush off at the same time. So if you're a painter and you paint, they call it plein air, out in the air, out in the wilds. You'll use these a lot of times just to, you know, save yourself from trying to find water or whatever. So Dollar Tree sells these too. I didn't know that. I bet mine doesn't. Every time you guys say, oh, Dollar Tree has it, I'll send JR, or we'll go over and we'll look. And ours doesn't have half the stuff. You got like Raymond's Dollar Tree, I think, is like the most amazing place because his Dollar Tree has everything. Ours does not. Or else I just don't know where to look for it. I'm not sure. So I have this pretty much, you know, it's just got a little, and like I said, having this white background is a good thing for this cookie. And I'll show you why. Now my paint is still a little bit damp, but I don't mind. I'm gonna go, the grain of the cookie is going this way, so I'm gonna put this right here, and I'm just gonna press, because like I said, my paint is still wet. Now, here's the magic. Are you ready for this? Using my paint pen, I'm just going to dampen this piece. You see what's happening here? This white is blending in with my wet paint, and it's like magic. Look at that. Is that not cool? Just the water on top of the wet paint. It's activating a little bit more, but the image remains nice intact, but all that white is leaving. Look at that. Is that not adorable? And so easy. I mean, seriously, so easy. And like I said, if you pull out all four of the cute little designs, the heart, the cookie, the candy cane, and the gingerbread, you could do a 4-piece set of these decorator cookies. Would people not love these for Christmas? And they would make such sweet ornaments. That's what I kept thinking. Oh my gosh, these would be so cute as little ornaments. Adorable. So I let this dry for just a little bit. I'm going to do this guy too. I'm going to go back and get some paint. But I mean, how easy is this? This is super easy. And you could do this with so many different napkin designs. I mean, I was thinking of all the napkins. I have some with little honeybees on them, with little trails. So cute. You could even pull, if they fit on the cookie, of course, you could pull words off of these napkins and make words on your cookies. These are like high dollar decorator items in the world of cookie making in these bakeries, for sure. So if you can do these fake style, I mean, and believe me, you can do this with foam clay too. It does not have to be Model Magic. Although, I will tell you, I had another genius idea when I was doing this. Well, I don't know how genius it is, but sometimes I tend to think a lot of things that I do are genius and they're just not. Talk about tooting your own horn, right? I sell a lot of kits to make things that I've done videos on, like fake soft pretzels and pineapple upside down cakes and peach cobbler, and I think I have 2 other ones, but I can't remember what they are right at the moment. I'm going to be releasing a cookie kit that has napkins with individualized figures on them like this that you can cut out and put in the cookies. And the cookie kit is going to have everything that you need, including a mold or a cutter, depending on which kit it is. You'll get the napkins, you'll get the paint, you'll get, what else did I say? You're going to get Model Magic, you'll get the cutter or the mold, you'll get finishing sugars, you'll get napkins, and you'll get the paint. Everything except your sealant. You'll have to have your own sealant. I'm going to be doing these kits, and I'm going to find as many napkins as I can to do these individualized little cutout things. And I think it's going to be so cute. I think we should all go on like this cookie journey together. This would be adorable. And I think we can probably do these for lots of different holidays. Think of Easter with, you know, the pastel eggs on the cookie, or the little bunny rabbits, or, oh my gosh, they'd be so cute. Halloween, we could do pumpkins, little witch hats. I mean, the sky's the limit for these things. And like I said, they're just like the little bakery cookies like that, with no stenciling, no extra painting, none of that. I mean, it's just simple decoupage. And I mean, even simpler than decoupage. This is like easy peasy. Takes no time at all to do this. And I'm not even sure that I really have to take off this much of the napkin. I'm just doing it because I guess doing as much decoupage as I've done, it's just the way that I do it. I love decoupaging. I mean, I have decoupaged on furniture. I love decoupaging. It is so fun. I have a giant piece of rice paper. It's big enough to go over the whole front of a dresser. And I have a armoire upstairs that this thing will fit on. And I have been dying, just like, I want to put, it's a gorgeous like pond scene with water lilies and greenery and flowers. It's so pretty. And I cannot wait to decoupage this whole armoire. Alright, here goes the magic again. I love this part. I'm not even using any decoupage medium at all. This is just water mixing with paint. This paint is not quite as wet as the other one, but I still think it's going to be okay. Because when you get down to the one layer in the napkin, it's pretty thin. So as long as it's not highly colored in the background, just about anything is going to sink in pretty well, I think. Look at that. So cool. I love this. I just love this so much. And the water pen makes it so easy. Now this one this one has the, what's it called? This is what I use for decoupage. It's called Decorator's Varnish. It comes in, this is the satin. This is the one I prefer for most of the decoupage. It's not too glossy, but it's not ultra flat. But it does come in a gloss. I think it comes in a matte, the satin, the gloss, and then it comes in a high gloss. Not sure, I can't remember the name of the company that I get this from, honestly. But I'm sure you can find it lots of places. I don't know why I can't think of the name of that. So this one, I believe is, yeah, this one is dry. Doesn't take long for the paint to dry on the Model Magic. So I'm just going to take some of this varnish and I'm going to go all around. This is a very soft brush. You see how it bends when I'm brushing it on there? It's a very soft brush. It's good when you're doing any kind of decoupage, especially with a napkin, that you use a soft brush to apply your varnish, just so that it doesn't, if the harder the brush, the more chance you have of lifting over the top of things that you've done. And you definitely don't want that. Now I'm going to put this all around my cookie. Even though my clay isn't 100% dry, I'm going to leave the bottom open. It does have paint on it, but it's okay. I'm not going to put the sealant on it until it's completely dry, and I'll dry it on a rack so that the bottom gets completely dry. So aren't they just adorable? I just love these. What do you think? Anybody gonna try and make some cookies? So we have our chocolate peppermints. I think this one is still wet. It is. Chocolate peppermints. And then we have our designer decorated what should we call them? Imitation stencil? What do you call them? I'm not sure what to call them. I'll have to consult my daughter, the baker. She'll tell me what to call them. But I think and everything smells so good. I get the sugar cookie vibe going on here, and I get the chocolate mint vibe going on here. It smells as good as it looks. And I really think these are adorable for Christmas. Think of nutcracker cookies. Would that not be so cute? I have some nutcracker napkins. Nutcrackers would be adorable. And they're all different colors. They're like green and red and all that. That would be so cute. So, that is about all I have today. I know I wasn't even on an hour, but I got so excited. I think I went too fast, as usual. Does anybody have any questions? Tina, you gonna make some cookies? Crows. Oh, Jamie, yeah, crows. That would be cute. Little crow cookies. Yeah, I have, one of the rice papers that I have is this, where is it? Oh, they're all right there. They're supposed to go on ornaments. It's these little birds. and they're all in the circles, and they're all like winter scenes and stuff. But I was thinking these would fit perfectly on these little cookies, and they would be so cute. Little birdie cookies for the bird lover. I'm definitely a bird lover. I'm going to run over my napkin. Okay, so I'm going to tilt the camera back up here. So I think that was pretty cute and a super simple project that looks amazing. Two super simple projects that look pretty amazing and smell good too. So get yourself some napkins and make some cookies. All right. Marie and Nicole are not on today. They are at the Fake Bakers Convention in Orlando. So, where do I get the rice paper? Yeah, I was trying to remember the name of the company. They're out of Texas. Oh gosh. You know, I don't even remember. If you search rice papers for decoupage online, you'll see a whole slew of different places that make them. And the decoupagenapkins.com is good for the napkins. And you don't have to buy like a 50 pack of napkins that you're never going to use like I did. So now I have napkins out the wazoo. Decoupage napkins lets you buy one or two, and they charge you like $1 for a napkin, or $1.50, depending on the size and all that. But they have a huge selection. I know I've ordered from at least 2 companies that sell rice papers, and they sell good quality rice papers. Or you can print your own, for sure. So do a little search on that and see what you come up with. And I'm going to sign off and get back to work and all that stuff. So if anybody has any questions, you can let me know. I will be back tomorrow with the live Sales and Crafting Down South group at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern, doing the live sale. And I'm going to have some new PropChef stuff in there. So if you're interested in the realistic fake baking, tune into that and I'll show you what I got. So until then, see you later guys. Bye.